I literally mean that. This gentleman has done more for motorcycling and snowmobiling and dirt track, motocross. He's done it all. He's an engine whiz. He's just constantly won't stop thinking about stuff to make horsepower. He sponsored a lot of our riders back in the day, Mike Ladle, Scott Holmberg, guys. He did a lot for our sport. And the Hall of Fame, Denny Swart, he's going to get the mic up and get it back. But, Olav, we talk on the phone, and the first thing he says, well, you never come down and see me. And I'm like, well, okay, I got a job. But I will get down there. But all I remember Olav from is being at the track, looking at the bikes that he built and the engine stuff he does, and his bikes were always just rocket ship fast. He's always got good stuff. So this is just my small portion and token of gratitude for what you do for our sport. And I got to find your trophy here. I got them all out of. No, that's not it.
Go for two. Door number 4.
There it is. I moved them around. All right. So what I'd like to do is give you this trophy in appreciation of what you've done for our sport. And welcome to the Hall of Fame of Midwest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to take this and you can talk.
Thank you. I don't know. That's just, hello? Yeah, if that's just a good idea, because usually they say if you give me a mic, it's going to take a while. And last time I talked was a Hall of Fame in snowmobiling, and they actually threw me off the stage because I was talking too much. So, anyway, I'm pretty lucky Norwegian because I came over here as a student, you know. Yeah, I'm half Swede actually, and my mother was Swedish, so that makes Scotty and Carl happy. I like the color of the tent on here. So, first of all, I like to talk thank you, because I've been involved with the Hall of Fame snowmobile for 30 years. I know how much work this is and how you can pull it off at this stage as well as you have, because it took us 20 years to get our stuff together. Congratulations. You know.
Yeah.
I came over here as an engineering student back in '67 because school of mine in South Dakota had a exchange program with our college over in Norway. And I was actually racing flat track in Norway. Started up with a CC 125. Just when all the past little 125 Hondas came out. And they just ran away from us. Then at the last race of the year at the championship, I made the final, but there was a Honda and there was a guy on a motocross bike. And he actually stayed right with that Honda guy around there. Otherwise, we were just way behind. We had like 14 horsepower. The Honda had like maybe 18 or so. So I thought, well, we took that Voltaco motor and put it in lighter frame. Maybe that would work. So that's what I did over the winter. Well, next year, I won 12 races and 2 second places and was Norwegian champion in 2 classes, short track and half. But the biggest thing that happened then, of course, is I was bit by the 2-stroke bug. Because we beat the 4-stroke guys. And that's been my favorite thing to do since then, has been 2-stroke engines. Well, I came over here, I thought maybe, that's it for my racing for a while, I'm going to be a student. Well, I was dead wrong there because I came to Rapid City, and guess what? There was a lot of racing going on around there. So I started to check it out. Well, one day, I went to some kind of a trade show downtown Rapid City. there was a guy there selling Viking sewing machines. So he had a TV on, and they were showing Trans Am races from California. So I started talking to the guy, and I said, you know those guys on the motorcycles there? That's the same company that makes your sewing machines. How's it? Really? They make motorcycles? Yeah, they make the best motocross bikes. Well, 2 weeks later was a Husqvarna dealer. And he called me up and he was like, you want to race one? Yeah. I got a 250 here. Okay, I'll be over. Free 250, that's better than the factory guys got the speed. So he goes, do you got any other good bikes? Oh, they do have a 360. A week later, it's a 360 here. So I had a 250 and a 360 I could race. And he had a van, said Viking Sewing Center on it, but I don't really care. There was a lot of races around there. I mean, they were racing, they had a scrambles on Wednesday nights, and then Saturdays, Sundays, there was all kinds of races around. And we'd race in Nebraska, North Dakota, and all over. I think we went to 34 races that year. Sometimes we would be down in Nebraska, sometimes we'd be up in North Dakota. But the big one was Sturgis. Sturgis in August, because that's just up the street from Rapid City, right? So, okay, we're going to Sturgis. He says, yeah, that's a big race, you go there. Okay. Well, first we tried the half mile, but my gearing wasn't just right, because I still had the motocross gearing on it. So I took the start into the first corner, and then they blew me off on the straightaway, and then passed me in the second corner, and then they blew me off on the front straightaway, and then they disappeared. So I think I ended up fifth or something. All right. Wasn't getting used to American racing, so they had the short track race. And that was a big deal, short track at Sturgis. And there I was scared to strike. So I won my heat races. That was pretty easy. And I'm starting on the pole. But in speedway racing, you know, we start 4 guys, we run 4 laps. No. They started 6 guys on the first row, 6 guys on the second row, 6 guys on the third row. We were 18 guys, and we were running 25 laps. Oh, I had never done that before, but I took the start, and I was leading, and I'm thinking, this is way too easy. I don't know. But I was driving as hard as I could, and I'm leading it up 20 laps, and it's like, what's happening? Because we're not lapping it. We're not coming up on the back markers or nothing. Everybody's just right behind me. Then on lap 20, one guy slipped under me. Next corner, another guy slipped under me. I tried to stay with him. My front wheel would walk out. Turns out they were saving the tires, and I wasn't. I think I ended up like 5th or 6th in that race. So that was all about strategy. That's why we weren't lapping anybody. They were just taking it easy behind me, waiting for the last 5 laps. All right, learn some strategy. Well, the last race was a motocross race. AMA was just getting into motocross. So they actually sanctioned the motocross race was behind the hill by the hill plant was. So, okay, the 250 wasn't good for motocross, because we had flat track tires on it. But the 360 was ready. And we went out and lined up next to a Norton and some Triumphs, and mostly scrambles bikes, and some Yamaha DTs. And they were fast scrambles bikes, but motocross track actually had mogul sections in it. So the Norton guy took the start, and when we got to the mogul section, I just walked right by him, of course. And from then on, I didn't see anybody, so that was easy with a 360 Husky up against those guys. So we won that one, so that was good. Well, that was my introduction to motocross. But what happens later was kind of interesting, because I got a letter and they said, well, since there was no other AMA sanctioned motocross races in the Western Division, you are now the Western Division champion. So I ended up being the Western Division champion in 1968. It wasn't against any factory guys or nothing. It was just happened to be like AMA does sometimes. They want to get into it. You got one race and you're the champion. Anyway, but that was a lot of fun. Then, when I graduated, I got a job as an engineer for Upper Marine Corporation, even in the snowmobile division. But I kept on racing. I bought a Husky actually and raced it. And of course, Elkhorn was the big deal. That was the big track at the time. And Jack Morgan was promoting all that stuff. Now I'm proud to have this. Thanks this International Motocross official Elkhorn, Wisconsin, because I actually helped Jack Morgan with a few projects. Now, I don't know if you guys know Jack Morgan or ever met him. All right. Yeah, well, go look yourself in the mirror, because if you know Woody, you know Jack. He was just exactly the same. Tireless promoter, all kinds of big visions, all kinds of dreams, and go, go, go. So you are as good as Jack Morgan ever was. Anyway,
Is this when I kick you off the stage?
no, you gotta wait 5 more minutes. Well, he had an engineering project for me, so we gotta have a starting date for the Trans Am race. You're an engineer, you can design one of those, can't you? Make one for me? Sure, no problem, we can make one of those. So I designed a gate, and it was like, you know, it fell forward, okay? And it was a long tube, and it held 10 drivers. So there was 4 sections, and it all fell forward. Well, Swedish driver Torleif Hansen thought there wouldn't be much of a problem to jump that contraption. So when the start come, he jumped the start and went over the tubing. And of course, 40 other guys did the same thing. And made complete junk out of my starting gate, and they had to haul it off, and there was just pieces of tubing left. So that's why starting race now, there's one for each guy, and it falls inwards. Makes a lot more sense. Anyway. Well, another thing happened. He got out of this snowmobile business, and that sounded like a disaster to me, but I decided I think I'll try and start a business, and if I fail, I'll just get another job. So I started AIM Performance, making up pipes for Makos, and that's actually what started my business and got me in business. And then I got some awesome drivers driving for me, and we went around the country racing, trying to win nationals and stuff. And countless memories I have. Scotty, Mike Ladle, and later Denny Swartz raced for us. I think the all could I ended up factory drivers. Scotty almost did. Very disappointed that he got a regular job instead, because I think he was right there, because he was running, you know, support 250 support races for Grand Prix races and stuff there, and actually took some whole shots and ended up in top 5s and stuff, and guys were starting to look at it. I know Carl was looking at him a little bit sideways, but he didn't think he could beat the Swedes. But then the Swede come over, and Scotty and him ran down in St. Louis neck and neck, and the Swede couldn't get around him. So 5 laps of that, he made a desperate move and jumped and landed on Scotty, and they both crashed. So neither one of us come down. Anyway, what I remember really well, though, was riding home from St. Louis. It would be me and Wally in the front of the Scotty's father in the front of the van, and there would be Scotty and his sidekick George in the back. They were out snoring away back there, and Wally and I'd be sitting in the truck plotting against the factory races all the way back to Chicago. I really miss the times with Wally. That was a good time. He was such an enthusiast, you know. Really, really gung-ho. So, you know what, all right? Anyway, we did end up winning a national for about 30 minutes before it was taken away from us. That Denny Sport was racing for me then. And the first time I met Denny Sport, we were down in Ohio when it was an awful med race. And Scotty goes, that's, you know, Denny's going to win this one. He says, Denny, who's Denny? Denny Sport. Nobody beats him in the mud. And nobody did. He was fantastic in the mud. And I asked him later on, how come you're so good in the mud? Well, I'm a farmer, you know. And when the sun shines, I work in the field, and when it rains, I practice. And that was Denny. So we went down to St. Louis, and there was a national. He ran in the open class. St. Louis was sort of on the hillsides there, and they had cut a ditch through the hillsides, and it was meant to be a sand trap. And it was probably like from here and across, and about 20 feet wide. But when it rained, it wasn't a sand trap anymore, it was a big mud hole. So Denny and I went over there and looked at it. I said, Denny, I know you can get through there, but if you are not one of the first three in the start, you're not going to, it's going to be an awful mess in there. So we looked around, and on the side of it, it was sort of tucked into a hillside. The fence was about 2 feet back, but it was dry. So I said, Denny, if you're not in the first 10, you circle back around and you trail right across there next to the fence and go around that big mud hole. Well, here comes the start. He's mid-pack. All the factory drivers dive into the mud hole. Everybody got stuck. I mean, stuck really bad. Then he went back, railroad across next to the fence, which was legal, it's still the trap. And he get around, and by the time he got around, everybody was still stuck. So he did the same thing again. About 20 other guys had figured that out by then, so all the backpack guys did the same thing, right? While the factory guys were still in the mud. So I think it was about 3 laps before the factory guys got out of the mud hole. And all the back markers had 3 laps on them. And then he won the race. Okay, so we have 1 heat win. Okay, here comes second heat race. Well, by then, the organizers took the fence and moved it back so everybody could go over that bump, you know, and nobody went through the mud hole. And all the factory guys got through there, but then he ended up third. All right, then he's third in the first. That means he won overall, right? Until the politics started. And then, of course, after all the factory guys were done, the first heat was disqualified and eliminated. So he ended up with third. So I said, well, you should go and protest. But then he was like, yeah, I'll get him someday. He was kind of laid back farmer. Next year, he was Mako factory racer. They had a mud race at Buchanan, and he won both motors, straight up. Those are some of the good memories. Of course, then we got into snowmobile racing more and more and more, and I ended up being more involved with that, so that tapered off the motocross stuff. I've been in that now. I've been in business for 40 years, a little bit more. I'm very fortunate to have made a living doing this. I'm 72 years old now. Ended up with a couple of heart attacks. The doctor says, well, you got to exercise more and get in shape. So being a race driver, that's permission to go racing again, right? So I built myself a Bultaco Astro flat tracker, and I started racing again. But it's not the kind of winning attitude. The first year's program was to see if we could do 6 laps without having a heart attack. Now this is the second step of the program, see if we can do 6 laps without getting lapped, and we managed to do that. So it's a little different schedule, but we're having fun. But I'm back on a Bultaco again. I'm doing flat track racing. And one thing though, if you've been in the business for this long, we won a lot of championships, snowmobiles, motorcycles, whatever. And when you're in the middle of it, oh, this is so important. You got to win this race. You got to be a champion. You got to do this. You got to be doing that. But when you're done with it all, and you start looking back, none of that actually matters. And all you guys you fought with and you hated and you were, you know, now you're just happy to see it because it's all the good friends you made during the trip. And that's why it's especially important that you do stuff like this. It's very, very appreciated. Thank you very much.